How you doing, Roy?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, you doing good?
Yeah. I can see your enthusiasm's back. Have you had some sleep?
No, I did not. I don't know why it's back. Moments before the start of the show, water spills into the keyboard. Not mine, another keyboard. And I'm like, wow! Yeah, I think I'm generally
so not so much best as adrenaline.
Yeah, I'm generally happier when we're riding closer to the edge of the cliff. That's true. I had a long time ago, I was taking a test to get into Air Force Academy in the United States. And it was a psych test. One of the questions was, you're near the edge of the cliff. Have I told you this already? This question totally is kind of who I am. You're like near the edge of the cliff. It was a multiple choice question. What do you do? And I was like, get closer and look over. You know, that was mine. Because they didn't have a just run off the edge and see what's on the other side. They didn't have that as an option. Because, you know, woohoo! I do that on skis. If I'm on skis and I have a sense that it's going to be safe, I'll go off the edge of something I haven't seen before. At least I used to.
See, I watch people skiing, and I think that looks really dangerous because they don't seem to look where they're going. They're quite happy to go off what seems to be just, cliffs, edges, and
sure. I used to have. No, go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I just look at that and I go, no.
I used to. If you had seen me ski when I was younger, I used to have hellacious falls at high speed, where I would just be a human cartwheeling snowball for 80 feet, 30 meters, right? 30 meters of just spinning and tumbling at high speed until I finally slowed down. That's how I used to be. Then I broke an arm and I was like, ooh, the body is not invincible.
See, that's kind of where I am. You see, I think the snow is probably fine. It's what's hidden under it that's the problem.
You mean rocks?
Like big rocks, sharp things.
Ski resorts
crevasses
generally have those pretty well marked. So you're going to be pretty good. The biggest thing with skiing is learning how to fall. So the key is you got to relax your body. If you tense up at all, it's you're way more likely to break something. So
ragdoll.
Yeah, that's totally one of the lessons that you want to. That's one of your takeaways. All right, what are we working on today, Rory? Do you remember?
Good. Well, you were on the precipice of amazingness, I believe, just as I was departing yesterday.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Projects together.
Yeah, it's all the days are just this kind of meld of things together. Let's start up TaleSpire and take a look at what our current status quo is on this. I fixed a couple of things didn't work yesterday when I was trying to show you them, and I realized they were fixed because of they were caused by moving stuff to the new location and deleting or renaming prefabs that I thought I didn't need, but I actually was using, things like that.
Because the last problem I left you with that you were targeting was the fact that you had this second pack of assets, which did not appear to be loading.
Right. I broke through that barrier, and I don't remember how. I don't remember how I did it. It might come to me. It's this journey into TaleSpire has kind of been this meld of surreal, where am I kind of experience. It feels a little bit. But I'm totally excited by it because this is what it was like when I was building CodeRush, or when I was, for Visual Studio or CodeRush for Delphi, is you've got this other environment and then all of a sudden you're written by other people and you don't have access to the code. So Hector HSC is out there, says, hi there, how you doing, Hector HSC? Glad you're with us. We're hacking into TaleSpire today. So yeah, let me give you a little taste of what's coming here. Well, first I'll show you the pieces that didn't work yesterday. Flashlight on. Look at that, baby.
Ooh.
Not bad. The disco lights.
Love the little target.
Yeah, I love the target is great. The target is awesome. The disco lights I'm going to get rid of, but I will have some sort of targeting sphere here. I will. That'll tell you how big it is, and I'll have buttons on the Stream Deck so that I can say 30 feet, 40 feet, that sort of thing, and maybe change its shape so we can see what the targeting space is. Right? It's going to be awesome to be able to say, I want to target here so my friends don't get hit by the blast. Right? It's going to be...
It's great, isn't it? Because it gives you that exact ability. Well, I'm planning to go here. That was my first thought. But now that I can see visually just how many people get hit by this,
Right.
maybe I'm going to change my mind slightly.
Right, and actually one of the biggest jokes of D&D is, the noob firing off the fireball indoors, right?
Yeah.
Because and for some reason Dungeon Masters like to think, laugh at how stupid someone is, right? It's the weirdest thing, right? But with it,
Mostly they were big, egotistical, power-hungry people.
Yeah, I know. What's exciting about this is that because they're really making fun of is actually their lack of clarity in explaining the situation, right? When you start realizing that, it's kind of like, oh, okay. So anyway, that's the new targeting piece, and I really like the UI of this piece in the middle. The outer piece we're going to fix, but that's targeting. The prefabs. Here we go. Let's go in. We'll zoom in a little bit here.
We've got 45 show is rating with a party of 13. Come on in, everybody.
45 show. We just started, kids.
We basically just started, yeah.
Yeah, we're
is coding and adding using kind of Unity and C#. He's adding to TaleSpire in order to basically augment. Wow, that was shiny.
Is that nice?
That's Mark, did you do that?
Nope.
Is that an all you kind of an effect?
That's not an all me. That's I paid for that, and it's now in TaleSpire, though.
Let's be clear. That's not a part of TaleSpire. You've kind of got TaleSpire in your left hand, cool effects in your right hand.
Yeah.
You've imagined all the glue necessary to put these two things together.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's really quite snazzy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of and so after I got this working, I went out and bought like several more packs of spell effects.
That's it. You're addicted now.
Written by this guy. Yeah, to some degree I am. Yeah, look at this one. This one's really nice. This guy's done some really good stuff. Look at this. Isn't that awesome on the mini board?
So that asset, or any one of those assets,
right?
What is the? Are they sort of purely? I'm trying to think of what physically they are, because that's a three-dimensional movement of particles, or
it's many things put together. But the exciting, cool thing is we will have full control over all the properties that put this together. We're going to create a modular system that allows us to pick one of the prefabs and then select its properties and modify the properties. That's what we're going to do. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ray.
No, that's really good. I mean, like we've discussed before, this is the idea that any number of small things which are reasonably flexible can be put together in many, many different ways. Yeah. So this guy's created, I don't know, Firestorm or whatever that thing's called, and has presumably put in something like angular momentum, number of particles, height, width, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can have a tiny one in the palm of the character's hand, or you can have one that engulfs the entire room.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I'm also going to add these for. That's kind of cool. Look at the effect they did. Look what they did. They essentially put a decal on anything that's in the space. I'll do that one again. Look at that. That's kind of a cool impact kind of effect.
Effectively a texture shader on the model.
Right. Yeah. And I think you can hear the sound effects on that. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy's also got sound built in, so they're really cool. So I've got all kinds of. This one's a cool one. Look at the heat map distortion on that.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Right. So really cool stuff.
So that you've obviously near mastered, I would say, the act of injecting a piece of. An asset, as it were, directly into the system.
Yeah,
right?
So it's not too bad.
So whenever now you need to put something in a new place, this is relatively easy to do.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you've got this other dimension of things that you can put there that is ever expanding now.
Yeah. Watch this, by the way. I love this one. Ice Rock Burst. Look at this.
Wow.
I'm inside. Look at that. Look at these effects.
Somebody has put a lot of time and effort into this.
Yeah. That's really nice. These are all showing. These are all firing up about a half a meter above the ground. I need to rebuild to drop it back down to ground level. Everything's very much hard coded right now, and so we're basically starting at a hard coded place. We're going to implement a couple things, couple ideas, and then we're going to move from there to to something that's more and more modular, more and more decoupled and programmatic. I'm going to be able to I envision I'm going to be able to type in some text and create a spell effect from that, and a very sophisticated one. Any others that we should show while we're having fun here? Oh, I love this one, Chiaroscuro Blast. These are my names, by the way. I went through and named. They were originally called Effect 1 and all of that. But I really like that. I think the detail on that is really nice. Plant growth, kind of cool. I think it's a little too short. I think I showed this one. Look at the camera shake too. Like, I love it. Right? These are beautifully done. We're all inside. TaleSpire doesn't have any magic effects, and now we are on the precipice of putting these all over the place. Okay.
TaleSpire really needs to take pull requests.
No. Now here's the problem. Here's the big caveat on this whole thing. And you and I, Roy, we tend to like say, wait a second, it's not as great. There's caveat. Well, I don't know. We like to point things out, right? Yeah. I'm building this for one purpose only. This is only going to work on essentially my machine. I might make it work on our players' machines, but it's essentially only one purpose, and that is for the broadcast of the show that we do. It's out there at Dragon Humpers. You can go give us a follow there. In our next show, you can go see that if you're interested in it. It's live Dungeons and Dragons. That's the only reason I wanted to. That's the only purpose. And so to make this work on one machine, to put all these effects out here, is the minimum. The next level is to let our players see the effects on their machines as well. And I'm like, I can kind of do it, but it's a lot of work. And I'm like, I'm not sure I want to go there. And then the third evolution would be to create something that everybody can consume. And I am not there. There's no way I'm
the spectator kind of logic.
What'd you say? Yeah, there's just no way I'm pushing in that direction.
The difference there is that these assets you've got, firstly, they're in DLLs and asset bundles on your machine. So
right.
There's no transmission anywhere.
Right.
As you said, you could probably transmit them to the other players. They could be there. You could send signals that would make the same thing happen in the other place, but you wouldn't be using TaleSpire to do that communication.
Right.
And if TaleSpire was to do this, and when they do this kind of thing, they're going to have to write all the network code. The assets themselves are going to have to be in every instance of TaleSpire, and presumably it'll be the equivalent of DLC that people can download. Yeah. And it does get that much more complicated. But for your main use case, we're kind of there.
Yeah, also, they don't have the same constraints as we do. As you know, this is all under the guise of Overkill Productions, my fictitious production company that just does everything too much. And so we're going to do everything too much here. But, the developers of at Bouncy Rock, the developers of TaleSpire, there's no way they're going to have the same criteria, right? They're not going to say we got to have over-the-top spell effects. That's not an issue for them. But for me, it is. I also want, like, if this guy takes a slash at someone, I want to see a sword effect somewhere in here. I want to see weapon effects in here as well. Blood effects, too. They have one blood effect in here. The same guy makes volumetric blood effects. So you have blood squirting out of characters. And I was like, I think I'm going to go there. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Let me see if I can find that blood effect in here. Blood burst massive. There it is. Look at that.
And it splatters the character as well.
And anyone nearby, right?
Yeah.
Look, let's do that one more time. Again. Look at that.
That's great.
Yeah. It's great and fun.
It's really in keeping with our mission, isn't it?
It's exactly keeping with our mission. It's also fun to see many characters bleed or whatever, right? In some ways, right? Not in a cruel, sick way, but all right. So anyway, one other thing, did I show you this, right? I don't think I did. 1, 2, 3. I tried to do this yesterday. This was due to a renaming issue. All right, let's do. Whoops, I didn't mean to. That was an ill-performed escape. All right. And I just wanted to demonstrate that my get ruler call finds the ruler, finds the points on the ruler, and lights up, puts some of these are my fire effects right here, and puts those up. Right, so pretty cool. What that means is the players can create a wall for like a spell, like Wall of Fire, and I'll be able to create a wall of fire right where they drop that down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of imagining that the worst case scenario, you're sort of going to calculate every foot or width of effect just to deploy another one, or sort of interpolated positions between those points. So you will actually have an entire string of, rather than just an item at each point.
Yeah, I will.
But there might be an effect that actually takes 2 points and says make fire between here and there.
Or takes an array of points and makes it all along. Yeah, that's actually an intention of mine. I'm actually excited about that possibility. So yeah,
you might using effects to do the proper curves and what have you. So rather than this angular,
no, I'll just do point to point. I won't do curves. I'm gonna because here's the thing. This is the UI I've decided I'm gonna use. So you're gonna go mark it out. TaleSpire already gives you the ability to draw and measure while you're drawing, right? So if I've got a wall that's 30 feet, I can do that right there. Whoops.
I do love that extra UI thing. You pointed it out before when we had the ruler with the dome, I think. If you, before clicking a point, and you've got a line that's sort of potential, and you shape the mouse to the left or the right, it's not an immediate effect, the line between it. It lags.
Yeah.
And it's slightly organic effect. It's lovely.
Yeah, there you can see it as I really spin around right there. Yeah, it is. It's nice. Yeah. So they'll draw the wall right there like this, and I love the length, the overall length piece here. It's great. Okay, I've dropped down Janus here. This is Janus, or Janus. I'm pretty sure. Yep, Fred's a big fan of Janus. I'm pretty sure. Let's not player data. In-game creatures I want to bring up. Here it comes. Pretty sure for Janus. There it is right there. It's right behind Fred. I'll scroll it up. There it is, right there. I've got a TaleSpire ID for Janus, so I know where Janus is. What I want to do, so we're going to kind of start off incrementally on this. Part of the reason why that makes a lot of sense is because we don't have full control over all the entire source code base, right? So we want to just take things a step at a time. So step number one is I want to cast a spell. I'm going to basically say, look, in all cases, poor Janus over here is going to be targeted by my character Merkin right here. And so in all cases, no matter where he is, we're going to shoot a fireball or do whatever from the point A to point B. And so I just want to start getting that working right now. Does that make sense, Rory?
It does, yeah.
And so what we're going to do is before we get to the, actually we're creating the classes to transfer the effect data across, we're going to create the effects in code and just spend some time there, observe those effects, observe the code, get a sense of what's going on there. Now, hold on a second, I'm going to check in on Campbell, see how he's doing, taking that keyboard apart. It's almost all apart, is what he says. So
cool.
We'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's go into the code. I think we can keep TaleSpire running here for a moment. So we need a button on the form that says attack, I think, something like that. We need somewhere near in this space right here. I'll throw it there, right there. Let's go in also to properties and make sure, I just remember seeing something, the anchor was wrong here. I want it to be anchored to the bottom left, and this one as well. And this one is already bottom left, good. This one we're going to call this attack. Attack Janus. Poor Janus. Alas. Okay. Attack Janus.
Poor Janus.
But the cool thing about this is we'll be able to very quickly test different angles just by moving the characters and hitting the button again.
So does this work at a distance? Does it work short range?
Right.
Does it work up onto a sort of a shelf, if you like?
Right.
Those kind of things.
Exactly. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making a big fat button because I'm, likely to want to go back and forth and click it. I want to be easy to click on. Go to events, get rid of the old event handler, double click it. Okay, now we need to find out where Janus is. And we need some little bit of data, I think, to find that out. We need this guy right here. What do we call this? Janus ID. There's one.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 2 is my character's ID, which is right there. All right. Got those 2 pieces. We need to find where they are. Do I have the ability to do that? It's been so freaking long. TaleSpire client.
Get creatures of some description that got you a big list.
Yeah.
Did that location?
I think that was over in somewhere else. TaleSpire Explorer, we've got get creatures right here from modding utils. Modding tales.modding utils. Look at that. Okay. And is this
now, if
called...
that's what I think is, that was previously the getting all the creatures effectively that might be in the area.
Yeah, good job on your memory on that, by the way. Oh, kids, guess what? I'm going to be using my wrong glasses this whole time. Now I'm using my great glasses. Okay, so guess what? Get creatures is going to go somewhere else. This is going to go in... I've got this class out here called TaleSpire. And inside of it, I've got static classes. So I'm organizing here. So I've got TaleSpire.components.getAll. TaleSpire.flashlight is on. See what's happening? 1, 2, 3, like that. So now what I'm going to
find nice chunks of useful code. You're going to place them in here,
right,
and organize so that you've got a nice kind of one-size-fits-all start point. TaleSpire, and everything's there for you.
Exactly. So now let's go in, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to say, oops, hold on a second. Home and end keys are not working for me. Neither up and down arrow keys. Give me a second. I think I've seen this before. I think we've already talked about this. Still not in here. Why is that? Working here. Go back over here. Working now. Okay. All right. So we just want to come in here and create a static class in here. Like that, and we're going to call this players. So TaleSpire.players and NPCs players. Minis. Why can't we use minis?
Okay.
What I'm going to do.
Minis.
What'd you say?
As in mini figures.
Yeah, as in mini figures, right? Exactly. Okay, next I want to, let me do one other thing in this new file I just created. I want to come in here and type in minis, like that. So we've got it. And then I want to add the method inside of it. So we're going to go back to modding utils, and we're going to say, let's go to TaleSpire. Nope, it's with a lowercase s, dot minis, dot get creatures. And now at this point, we're going to say return it. What's ARG? What's going on with ARG? Nothing. Okay, we don't need ARG. I'm just going to come in here and say return it. Like that. So that's going to get us all the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Something else is going on here. It's not this simple yet. It is character positions is what I want to return. That's what I want to return. Character positions. Is going to come in here like that. Like that. So we're only taking this part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Surly must be out there. Surly, how you doing? Minis. Let's call this get all. Let's go declare that method. Let's paste that in. Everything looks like it's in. Oh. Surly!
Surly Dad in the house.
I think we're doing good.
I think we are too. I think we're really cracking on. The stuff Mark's been doing overnight has really added to the pot of tools, should we say.
Yeah, okay, so we're returning character positions here. This is going to be a not null. No. It's going to be a null, and then we're going to say, I'm going to say return null. Like that. Get all needs to return to character positions. Right there. Okay. All right, I think that's it for that refactoring right there. There'll probably be other things that I do as well, but this is I've settled upon this as the style of the UI.
Sure.
I think I'm going to increase my font size a little bit. In case anybody out there is like saying, Mark, the font size. Pump it up just like, just up to. All right. I think that might be easier to read, especially in smaller devices.
So, is there a potential expectation that you'll come across this API? Because normally the plan is that you'll be needing to do something and you'll know, aha, I just type TaleSpire dot and away we go. And you just use exploratory purposes. You don't have to remember too much.
Right.
So when you do minis and get all, is there the possibility that you'd be expecting to get back something other than just their positions? Or is this one of those where it should be get positions or get all positions?
Yeah, I'm already there with you. Thank you. Good suggestion. Get positions, get all positions. Get positions. Sweet. All right, so I've got that there. Now I want to do this. I want to go back over to my form right here. And down in this space, I want to start writing this, but I really, really think I want more like this. TaleSpire.minis.get position, just singular, and I want to pass in Janus ID. And then
yeah.
Let's look at character positions. What's going on in character positions? It's just a list of those. Sweet. Janus position is that, and Merkin position is that one. Okay, cool. And let's declare that. All right, now am I worried about performance because I'm going to be making a couple calls. And I'm slightly worried about performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like efficiency maybe is a better way to say it. I'm worried about efficiency.
There's overhead presumably in making any call into TaleSpire, and you're going to get two sets of that overhead when you're asking for two individual character positions.
Yeah.
How
I'm not worried about it for now.
Itself.
What'd you say?
How performant is get positions itself at the moment? Does it
unknown? I think it's fast. It feels like it's fast. So I think I'm not going to worry about it for now.
I was going to say, there's a possibility that rather than build a list, you could build a dictionary and key it off the ID. So you could get positions, and then having got that, assuming you know it's only been milliseconds since you did get it, you could reach into it and get the individuals for Janus and or Merkin or whoever. But it is overkill to get all creature positions in order to get just those two.
Yeah.
So there's a balancing act.
I'm kind of with you on it. I'm kind of feeling it. So we're going to write this for efficiency. We're going to target that as our goal here. So we'll do something like this. We'll say that's equal to null, like this, and then we're going to say, what's wrong here? Oh, static. And then we're going to say if null. We're going to do that. Maybe we're just going to refresh already.
Just be careful and not store that cache.
I heard you wanted my show. Say no more. It's time for the pudding show, kids. Hey, Pudding.
Hey, Pud.
How's everything going in your part of the world? You're in South America, right? You're south of me. I'm in Central America. I was going to I was thinking about adding a refresh, or I mean, a invalidate. I was going to set this to null. That's what I was playing with. Let's go look at all creature assets. What's going on there? Okay, that's just interesting. That's just going straight from its asset set.
I was going to say, is there any, because we've got this get creatures that we had before, that we've now got minis get positions, and we implement that by calling all creature assets and then processing it. Mm-hmm. Do we have any other reachable, do we have the facility to get in and just get singular, or does everything we do currently have to be implemented on the back of some results from all creature assets?
Oh, that's a really great question. So creature presenter, let's go interrogate that. Maybe there's a way to get in to just get that. Creature presenter dot get asset. That does it. ID creature asset. I love it. And that's type creature board asset. All right, sweet. That's better. We're going to go back, put this back the way it was. All right.
Assuming that this works, it's actually not too bad as well, because it gives an impression just from the naming of the magnitude of hit the system will take. So you get positions, there's going to be more than one of them, and that you're doing it deliberately with whatever cost that is. But if you're doing a single get position or a get character position, you're at least hoping that it will be less of a hit. So whilst there'll be an overhead to go and get the data, there's less data coming back.
Yeah. There's one issue with altitude here. Mm-hmm. We're passing that data back. And I don't know yet if that is additive to the Y or subtractive from the Y.
Yes. So is it absolute within the world, or is it relative to the floor directly beneath the person?
Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to... let's do this. Let's extract this to its own method. Get creature position, so we can pass an asset in there. Yeah, what I was doing with this is I was thinking that I was going to add altitude to it. It looks like that's where I'm going, because why not just simply return place position? Right? Because it's just X, Y, and Z. Let's go and do that. Let's do that for now. I think... Oh, because it's vector DTL. Alright, got it. That's why I have to do this. Okay, great. I see. Okay. Alright. So get creature position. I think I want to do this. Yeah. Get position vector DTL. Then we're going to make this public. I'm going to put a this in front of it right here. Uh-oh. No? Top level class. Okay, cool. We're going to just stick it up here, and we're going to create a class for extension. TaleSpire extensions. Like that. Put it there. Go to that. Do that. Everybody should be happier now. You type the file. All right. So now we have on creature board asset, we can ask for its position vector DTO.
Yep.
Good. Okay, that's better. And now down here, we're going to get that. What's inside character position? It's mine. Haha. Okay, that's great news. We're going to do this. How are we using this? Okay, I see right there. Okay, cool. So I need to introduce local on this guy. Right there. And now I want to take from here to here. I want to extract this as well. And this is going to be cool. We're going to get character position. And I'm going to change this to an extension method as well. Character position and this right here. Okay. Okay, cool. Creature GUID ID. Shoot. What's a creature GUID ID? Shooter state ID. It needs a creature GUID ID. Is it a creature GUID or a creature GUID ID? It's a creature GUID. Okay, cool. And what do I need here? Is it just a string? GUID string. Okay. Creature GUID.
Sounds just a fancy wrapper, really.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Okay, then I'm going to go in and say, I don't want the vector DTO. I want something else on it.
Maybe just a little bit, Mark. It's sort of hiding down there behind the flowers.
Oh, thanks so much. And so all we want to do is just return that. Return that right there, or return null. All right, that is good. I'm feeling good about that. So now we've got, and that's inside TaleSpire.many. So TaleSpire.many.getPosition. So sweet. Now we can come in to our Form Explorer. Now we can say TaleSpire.minis.getPosition. And we can say Janus.
I mean, like you are 2 lines above.
Yeah. Okay, so we can totally do that, and we've already done it. I was just demonstrating again for anybody who missed that, anybody joining us the last minute here. Is Jeff's hat stand and his group. Trying to follow my code. All right, now I need to put something in some place, right? I think for now what I'm going to do is, let's do this. We're going to add a particle effect, which is almost could be renamed to just simply add effect.
Sure.
Okay. And it needs an ID by default. And what's going on is I've created a mechanism that if we create something, we have to give it an ID. Because if we create something and we give it the same ID as something it already has created, it'll find that and destroy it. That's what's happening with the effect.
ID. So this is like if you cast the same spell in 2 places with the same ID, the first instance will vanish. I'm
just going to use Janus ID on this. These are things we're tracking internally, so that's all cool. Next, what do I want to create here? I think I want to create, I think it's medium flame. Right now I'm just going to put two flames up in the 2 different positions, just to verify that all this is working. And we want a vector, and what I want to do is I want to use this. It's looking for vector 3. Do I have a vector 3? I don't think so. I just have my vector DTO. How angry are you going to be if I add a method here?
Viciously make a vector 3.
So you're not going to like that, huh?
Intrinsic. Yours is the add effect is yours, right?
Hold on. I know how I'm going to do this, and you're not going to be. Yeah, I'm going to do this in a way that you're not going to be upset. So this is my vector DTO out here, right? Watch this. Yep. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. So we're going to say public static return a vector 3 is what I think it is, and we're going to call this get vector 3 like that, and we're going to say vector DTO like that. Okay, now I'm not touching that vector. Roy gets upset whenever I have something that's a DTO and I start adding methods to it. You know why? Because he's an unreasonable person. He's angry and unreasonable.
Yeah, I get all frustrated and stuff.
All right, so now we're going to return new vector 3. I got that right?
I don't know how it's done. I can't remember the syntax, but there is a way to do an implicit conversion, isn't there? Where it says I need a vector 3, but because you tell it vector DTO how to, in a sort of an external fashion, it automatically does the conversion. You're going to do the equivalent of a .to string here, aren't you? So a dot get vector 3.
Well, I didn't want to mess with that. I mean, I do actually kind of like the rule here that says, hey, if it's a DTO, we're not going to add any methods to it.
I agree.
We're going to be careful about that.
This is usually defined, I think, outside of the class, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
No, the implicit conversion. You done?
No, there's a 5 that I couldn't take out and 2 that.
So it's still like that. Okay, no worries. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. You're free to move on to other aspects of your life. All right, so now we've got to get vector 3. Calling it from anywhere in the loop. So now we're going to come over here, position.get vector 3. Like that. Okay. And we're going to come down there, do the same down here with Merkin, like this. I just want to report an issue here. Let's see if I can reproduce it. That's weird. Can't quite report the issue, but it's something to look at. Here we go, guys. So I'm right here. You can roll back about a minute or two and check to see what's going on with that. Hold on, let me dock a second because clearly somebody's out here trying to do some flowers. Here. Get up there. On the shoots. Why? On the shoots? No. Okay, so I'm here and I had Shift Enter to duplicate the line. Okay, fine. I'll type in Merkin like this. That's what I want. I'll do it again. Why isn't it getting the Merkin that I already got? I don't understand that. Also, if you roll back, okay, here it just did, and it got them both. What's interesting is if you roll back about 1 minute or 2 minutes, you'll see where it gets only one, but not the other. And it's like really, really weird. So there's definitely some inconsistency here. I don't know if I can duplicate that. Not. Let's try closing this down. Hold on. Let's close down this and also close down this guy. And now reopen, view the code. So we clear the cache. And now let's try it again, see if we can do any duplication here. So I'm going to come down here, go down here and say Merkin, like that. All right, satisfied with those results. Let's try again. Now it's working. Yeah, so you'll have to roll back to see it.
Referring to, Mark, what was it that was previously not working?
What would happen is I would duplicate it and Merkin would be here, but Janice would still be here.
I did see that earlier in the stream as well, maybe 20 minutes back. It was definitely a little
ago. I saw it back in about 20 minutes back as well, so it happened.
In that case, I resolved it in my head. I excused it, if you like, by saying that the two were different cases, and it didn't understand that one had changed and should be changed in sequence with the other. But I have since seen it work, as you've just demonstrated. So,
yeah,
a little uncertain.
Yeah. Whoops, I misspelled inconsistent. I did. Inconsistent during stream. Okay, let me get that out in the chat room. We're Dog Food and Code Rush Kids, and we see anything, we say something. That's what's going on here. So, all right. Yep, that's working now. All right, so now I've got the two different positions. I've got two flames out there. Maybe that'll work. The thing is, I think I need one more button to clear the effect, is what I think I need.
Okay.
Let's add one more button before we start running. And clear properties on this. Make sure this one's bottom left. Good. And then we'll come over here for the second one. Call this clear effect. Clear attack. Like that. Just a temporary button needed. Nope. Click that. All right, and so all I need to do here is I need to go into TaleSpire .instances.delete, and I'm going to need to bring those out. Okay. All right, let's compile that. See if it runs. Is TaleSpire still running? It is. Let's shut it down.
The TaleSpire instance is that again sort of API.
Roy, I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
The TaleSpire instances delete. Is that part of the API that you yourself have been building as well?
Yeah. So what happens is this: add effect comes in and calls TaleSpire.prefabs.clone, passing in an instance ID. Clone comes in and says, hey, you're giving me an instance ID. I'm going to go add it to our instances, which is another kind of class inside TaleSpire. And then so that's why at the end, I'm coming in and saying TaleSpire.instances.delete. So I'm just clearing those up, just to get rid of them.
The only thing I was slightly concerned about is because it sort of gave the impression, especially because you'd be passing a GUID for, let's say, Janus himself, that you might accidentally delete Janus himself, rather than is named after him. Yeah.
These are instances refers to anything I've created.
Okay.
That's kind of what it refers to. So that's how it's named right now. Let's see. Let's build one more time. I didn't see the results the last one. Sure, it says you've all succeeded. It does. Now let's start up TaleSpire. I don't like that in their early access content pack. The word wrap right after the word blood. Just read Sanctum of the Blood. I'm like, what?
More a fact of how why do you have that particular screen?
Oh, okay. That could be it. So with this, what we're looking for is when I hit the attack button, we're looking for two medium flames to appear between the two. It's a little bit paused, but it's actually, you got to remember, it's bringing in megabytes, I think about 100 megabytes of effects is what I think of compiled DLL effects. All right, so there we go. So now we're looking for, when I hit the button, we're looking for...
Flame on Merkin and flame on Janus.
Was that a crash? Okay.
Oh.
That can also happen.
Ball of Flames doesn't, yeah.
What do we think about get position? It's not. This is throwing the exception right here. I'm sure it's. I'm sure it's their code, not mine. Why would my code have a problem? All right, let's try it. Let's do a. Well, actually, let's do it. Let's not do it. Let's do it here. Let's do the whole thing. Let's just. It's best to. Whoops. All right, so we're going to say exception. We're going to send an ex.message like that. Don't need to worry about inner exceptions.
Oh, it's a possibility, yeah.
It's like just a couple more lines of code to be able to show them all. Okay, there we go. So that'll give us an idea as far as what the problem is. So we'll do a rebuild over here. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about their call. I think they're going to be like, your ID is not my ID. You're wrong. In other words, they're not using this internally. That's what I think they're going to do.
Shame.
And we're back to writing that other method. Let's see, ready. I didn't notice it said rebuild all successful. Let's try again. Rebuild all succeeded. Okay. All right. What's this? Close this. What? How's the volume out there, guys? Is that me hitting the button? What's going on? Why are all these... Oh, you know what it is? I think it's it looks like it's all Coders because Coders is reporting back on the volume and things like that, but that's certainly from the other channel. It's good. He's got remote control. Is that me? Are there two musical sources? They're not. This piece that just came in is the music source. Well, there are two music sources, but not for the show. Turning it up and down.
The volume is low compared to the sound effects, but only on the stream. For me, it's pretty good.
Yeah, tell me what you need. I also have volume controls over here, individual ones. Certainly if you need it. So, but the guitar sound is the start music for the beginning of TaleSpire. So if you're wondering about that, that's definitely not you. Okay. So yeah, we're going to have about a 1 or 2 minute load time for TaleSpire after we get all the assets I want to put in it. That's the other reason why they're not going to go in the same direction I am, right? But it's exciting to me, right, to be able to create these live effects right inside of this game environment.
Absolutely.
Cool. It's cool. All right, these guys are all going to come in here. And now I'm going to hit attack Janice. And do I get it? No, we're crashing again. Oh no, wait, it's down here. Object reference not set to an instance of an object.
Oh.
Thanks for that one. Okay. It's here. Is get position returning null? That's probably what's happening.
Okay.
Right, so it's, I think
that's actually on the game board, right?
What'd you say?
Janus is on the game board.
Yeah, he is. He is. Let's send some debug messages out here. I've got TaleSpire.log class over here.
Yep.
Right? So TaleSpire.log I don't know. Maybe error. Let's do this. I'm not a big fan of everything that's happening, in the tools that I'm using. But if Janus is null, we're going to say error, Janus position is null, and we got to get out.
Uh-huh.
And we want the same thing for the Merkin position, like that. And we got to get out. That is likely going to. That's likely our problem.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to look at there?
Many places it can be. Either Janus position itself is null, or dot position is somehow null. And yeah, there's not a lot else.
Yeah. All right. Let's rebuild. Succeeded. Let's run. Starting up again. Now, about like if we're going to be doing a lot of this, I'm going to maybe go in and delete some of those other DLLs that we're loading up. Move them around a bit. Move them to another place. Because
each development and testing of stuff need only have a fairly small selection.
Right.
And through this.
What'd you say?
And that will speed us through this a little bit quicker.
Yeah. They are basically. I only need this one, so I can take these two and get rid of them. And guess what? I don't need this anymore. That backup I can delete. So these two I can get rid of, and I bet we're going to have a faster load time. Will there be any problem? There'll be a link problem, I think, because there's a DLL here that I link to. So really, it's really kind of like I have to delete the Windows folder in both of these. These are the pieces that we're loading up here. So 44 megabytes in that one. Just top down. Look at that, 100 megabytes. Top down's big. Top down, I really like the top-down assets as much as I like the other ones, the realistic effects more. And I'm kind of surprised that it's like using twice as much resources. I'm kind of like, all right, they had like half the effects. I didn't like. I'm not as happy with the results. Yeah, top down I can get rid of. Maybe completely. We'll see. There may be some salvageable pieces, some salvageable effects in there. Okay, I'm starting up. And let's get the log. I guess I'll just alt-tab to it. I'm going to hit the button here. Attack Janus. Yeah, Janus position is null. There it is right there. Okay. So get position on that is not working. They're either using a different ID.
Yeah. That's kind of sad.
Yep. Is it just me or does the music sound disjointed? Let me crank it up a bit. You're right. I'm going to refresh the drone game. It totally sounds disjointed. Thanks for that. Back to normal. Okay. Yeah. Well, it might have been that there were two things playing at once. That yeah. Let me know if you ever hear that. Okay. All right. Close this down. Yeah, I'm kind of actually have resistance to doing what we have to do. Is kind of what I have resistance to. All right, let's do this. Yeah, the creature GUID I think is different.
What is so when you do a get creatures and we get that that sort of bunch of serialized data back, does the naming convention around that data suggest the same phrase as it's a creature GUID, for example, or does it suggest some other kind of GUID?
There's nothing there. ID, board asset ID. Is that what I'm using? Yeah, that's the ID I'm using, board asset ID. Okay. Maybe that's different from the creature GUID, right?
Yeah,
This
I mean it could.
GUID string.
It could effectively be the instanced ID. So you put 12 trolls down and maybe they get same class of creature GUID, but they get a different GUID per item for their position on the board.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that has ID in it. Oh, instance ID, there you saw that, and world ID. Yeah, so there's those as well.
Could we do a call to all creature? We were successfully using before, and output those various kinds of ID for everything, and just take a look at the data and see which ones maybe correlate.
I think it's a good idea. Let's do it. So we're going to do it around in this space here, I think. I'll just throw it up in here for now. Board asset ID is equal to the Janus ID, right? Then we're going to go to our, I'll just throw it up in our text box called Scratch up there. And we're going to do something like this, and we're going to say, what's wrong here? To stir.
One's a string and the other's a GUID, or creature GUID. Well, let's think. Board asset ID is the one that was, successfully being used in all creature assets?
Yep, that's my recollection. All right, so now we're going to come in here and say, we're going to get its get instance ID. Like that. And let's document that. And we're going to also, whoops, not there, right here. We're going to creature board asset dot world ID. We're going to show the world ID. Then we know already that you know that's failing.
Asset ID itself is fine. Just trying to think is other kind of diagnostic information that's useful.
Well, I'm gonna try these two IDs. Is what I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay.
And see
if we null for, if we don't get null for one of them, then that's a useful thing to have.
Yeah, and then this one's going to be world ID, like that. And is world ID to string? Yeah, that should work. And then I'm going to just say, hey, is either one not null? If not null, then we're going to say scratch.text plus equals. I didn't put a new line at the end of this, I just recalled. Let's do that right there. And then we'll say worked, like that. We'll do that. Then we'll have another one for test position 2. And if that's not null, then we're going to say this call worked. We'll just say world ID worked. Be much easier to read.
Yep.
Like, Roy, how long are you thinking about things before I finally realize them? And then you're like, yep.
I'm not entirely sure it's fair to say I am ahead of you by very much at all.
Oh, that means he's ahead of me, everybody. Did you hear that? All right. So we're going through all of them. If we
did not say that.
Yeah, he said it. No, he said it. He did. Somebody clip that for me. All right. So let's see. TaleSpire is shut down. Let's right click
I can
this.
be ahead of you by a negative quantity.
Oh, look at this guy. All right. What do we got here? Rebuild all succeeded. Let's start up TaleSpire again. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to figure out which one of these are working. Yeah, this is sometimes things get slow, right? Because you're hitting up against total unknown, right? No source code. You're like, okay, what are they? Or alternatively, I guess you could argue, well, you could decompile things as well. But even with decompiling, it may take longer to decompile and read the code to understand it than it is to just do a test like this. there's a chance that one of these three is going to work, or one of these two new ones that we're trying. And I think that's kind of where you were going, Roy, when you said, "Hey, can we do this?" Isn't that kind of what you were not quite ready to give up on this call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm already trying to think, what would we try next if these all turn out to be null?
Oh, well, no, we just go back to what we were writing at the beginning, where we go through, we just make the bigger call.
Yeah.
And get all the assets and iterate through the assets, find them. Okay, so now, there we go, Janus. Janus is on the board. Attack Janus.
This might work, but, ooh, what we got?
Hold on, I got an exception. Index and link must refer to a location within the string. Parameter name and length. What?
Huh?
That came from one of my two string calls, I think. Pudding says I have a very important question. Stop the show! Where's the pudding character here? I don't know. That is an important question. Let's see. Let's figure that out. Let's see. Do we have not in unique creatures? It's going to be in my creature assets where they have moved to. I guess I got to go to build mode and not unique creatures. Where are you? You on the other side of the screen? Here you are. No. 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 Where are you? Where are you, two creatures? Pick an asset. No, 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 no. Open library. There's my creatures right there. Okay. See, even Rory laughs nervously because he knows it's true. It's very relevant. All right, we're going to now look for pudding. And I'm not seeing anything show up. Do I have to hit a key to do this? Is it monstrous? It's just giving me pig. It's like, it's not good news. I don't think there's any pudding in here yet. I thought there was, is there jelly or something? It's suggesting gesture off to the right. Pudding, I've got pudgy, and I go type in pudding, it gives me pig is the closest. Jelly, what's the other thing that looks like it? I thought they did have a kind of a green glowing. Wow, no putty sprite. Yeah. I want to be like Rory one day, says Fred, and just say murky every day. Yeah. Okay. All right. Getting out of build mode. Trying to get out of build mode. I'm going to hit the toggling letter B. What do I have to do? Close this down and now hit the letter B? Okay, I guess I'm not in it now. Okay. Okay, that was a really weird error. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, kids. All right. So we were able to send out what world ID was, but I think the next line after that, well, it's one of these two calls right here, I think. Is it get instance ID?
It's very strange because the complaint is about indexing into what we believe is a string. So, get me the fifth character from a 3-character string, which implies conversion or an attempt to read from within a string.
Yeah, it's a substr call is what it looks like.
Yeah. Now, we're not making one of those.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So that's just a little strange. I mean, what it means is that we've fed data into one of their calls, which causes them to take a different branch than what was happening before.
Here's the other thing is we're throwing in, it's got to be world ID. It's not going to be instance ID, I think. They're not going to have an NGUID wrap it around there. Let's try and get world ID wrapper in there.
It ends with 66. Does that compare in any way with either of the GUIDs?
I just closed it down. So you said I don't know what it ends with. What did you say it ended with?
I think it ended with a 66.
Ah, it's the same. I think it's likely the same. The world ID is likely the same. Yeah, it's not good. And just to go back in here, try get asset, creature good. 2 overloads. There's one that's just that. Any methods on creature good? Just a value. Value string. It's an N good. Interesting. I wonder if they're doing some magic in here. Because where they're maybe holding another number inside of it in their N good. Because I think that's theirs. I think what we're going to do is this. I'm going to comment all this code out. And we're going to come in here. And we're going to return a variant of this.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the what we viewed as a bit more of a heavy, weighty call. We're gonna ask for everything, and then we're gonna identify just the piece of the everything which corresponds with the piece we have interest in.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna come in here and say return that. Wait, I need to do a check. Yeah. But basically, we're gonna return that if the creature asset dot board asset ID equals ID. String. Okay. And then otherwise we're going to return null. And I feel like this is going to solve the problem for us. That's what I think. Creature Next is out there. Hey, Creature Next. Learning how to fly a drone. Yeah, you can just type in U, L, R, or D for up, left, right, or down. And there you go. Creature Next is out there flying. Flying. Okay. So now we don't need this, or this. Or this. Let's run it now and see if it works. You with me on that, Rory? You feel good about that?
Yeah, I am indeed.
All right.
It's a shame we couldn't get it to work the other way, but to be honest, we've not seen any huge performance issues with this other technique. So until we actually hit up against them, it's not a disaster to use.
Yeah. Wasabi Dev is with us too. Hey, Wasabi Dev. I want to make these drones so they're like you can customize them, I think. Right? You can kind of say, hey, I want my drone. You know, I was looking at other things. I didn't notice if it did a build all. Yeah, it succeeded. Okay. All right. Yeah, I kind of feel like being able to customize your drone would be cool. Ooh. I wasn't so focused on hacking into TaleSpire today. Pretty nice. That's cool.
I'm waiting for you to combine the ideas and have a drone asset that's injected into TaleSpire that we can control in 3 dimensions.
Well, we actually could do that. That's actually incredibly funny.
Disturbingly easy, isn't it?
To put like a modern technology drone inside of, you know, the medieval environment, right?
Slight clash of cultures, but
yeah.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Surly devs, yes!
The drones. Gonna be able to fly drones around. Each drone has a camera.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. All right, so we're loading up. This is that big hit on the loading the resource, about 140 megabytes. It's loading up right now. Are the resources that we're injecting. So, Surly, are you saying please do what? You want to fly drones in TaleSpire, or are you saying you want to have customizable drones on the show? Because I'm like, you know, customizable drones on the show, easy to do. Flying your own drone around in TaleSpire, it's possible, isn't it? It's totally. Drones in TaleSpire.
It would be well, you got to remember that so far everything we're doing is only on your copy of TaleSpire.
I know.
So it would very much on what the camera was looking at as to whether there was any space that was kind of worth flying around in. If you're zoomed in very much for the moment on a single character, the drone that's flying in the next room is kind of being flown blind.
Well, I think we would make calls to like do tricks around characters. We would add commands. So you can say like hover over Merkin, and wherever your drone was, it would fly across the board into that space. And then also you could specify 3-dimensional coordinates just like you can right now, certainly. Yeah, we could do that. It's a project, but yeah, let's get the spell effects working now. Let's try attacking Janus. Are we going to get something now? Oh, wait. Clone asset magic stars return null. Why did that show up? That's maybe unrelated to this call to attack Janus?
Do you have a message somewhere now?
I don't know, but now I've just done it a second time, and now I'm kind of feeling locked up.
Right-click the log there.
Oh, is that what I've done? Oh.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. Why is clone asset returning null? Why is it asking for magic stars? What's happening? Am I missing something here? An add effect? Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. It's just a bad name. So prefab's clone not working. Maybe I've got a bad name? Really, we went through all this work and medium flame doesn't exist to get here?
Oh.
Let's double check that. I thought medium flame was definitely in the list. Medium fire. Okay.
Oh. Now, which one are we specifically asking for in the button?
I think we're doing this. Wrong one. Medium fire.
That's a good reason, at least.
It is a good reason. I'm embarrassed to say that you and I were both here, mainly you, when I wrote that code. All right, so we call it medium fire again, and it seems like there was something else I wanted to do. Oh yeah, that error message. I wanted to correct the error message. Let's go into the error message here, so we get a good spell effect name. We want that.
Yes, much better.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a clone asset call anymore. It's a different call. All right. That I think as well. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting the way things have kind of turned. I initially took it one direction and noticing that I've changed direction. Let's do a rebuild on the Explorer. Okay, it's done. Starting TaleSpire. All right. Starting off small. I cast drone spiral. I cast drone attack. This really wants 3D drones. Okay, starting up. Loading. It's at the big hit where it loads up those assets.
Mm-hmm.
For tomorrow's show, I'll probably clear all this out. All right, now we're going to see two flames.
Okay,
this
would be good.
A flame here and a flame here. That's
indeed.
Go. Sweet.
Hey!
And now that means I can move this guy over here now, like that. And we can do it again. Go. Sweet. All right.
Very good.
Next, I want to test flying. So that works. Let's toggle his flying ability. Let's bring him up to here and do it again. Okay. So what that means is his position, the altitude is subtractive if you want to get to the floor. Does that make sense? Altitude is subtractive, which means now that I know that data in my vector DTO, I'm going to go document that. Oops, not here. Character position is where it was. Character position. get to the floor. Okay, that's cool. Actually, I could just create a method here. Like that. And we can say return position dot y minus flying altitude. And now I don't need a comment anymore.
No, that's good.
Okay, next. I want it to travel. I want to now have the fireball go in a line. What's cool about that fire is it's not just a static effect. It's a particle system that I think is depositing particles out into the real world. It's possible also to create particle systems that only work locally. So as you move them around, they're not effective and they don't leave a trail.
Would move. As the center of the fire, the medium fire would move through the world, depending, of course, on its speed, it emits particles, and they would not have the same velocity, so it would kind of form a trail as it moves.
Yeah, if they drop in the world coordinates, exactly. So, which is what I think, which is what I want for the fire. It's what I think I've set for it, but I don't remember. We can go look at that right now. Go find medium fire in here. There it is. There. Go into the particle system for it. And I think it is, there it is, simulation space, world, right there. So that's exactly what we want, which means if we move it, it's going to do we move it fast, it'll make a long trail behind it, which is what we want. Now we need to move it between 2 points.
Ooh, we have 2 points.
Yes. But
it's
now,
almost like it was planned ahead.
Right. It's almost as if it was planned ahead. But I think what I want to do, I have a couple approaches for doing this, but let's talk about the one I'm leaning towards and get your reaction to that right here. So we're talking about travel, moving effects. I'm thinking about adding a script to do this.
Okay.
And then we add the script as a new component. On the effect. I'm really leaning towards this. Set properties, which would be include start, stop, start position, stop position. And then something to affect the curve.
Okay.
So basically a time animation, some sort of time, animation distortion or something like that. Time distortion, so we can, what's the best way to do this? I'll just say time animation for now. So we've got those two pieces.
It's still a linear piece of movement. It's going to go from a start to a stop position, but you're talking about the easing of the speed, if you like. So it could start off and accelerate and then explode at the end, if that was what it was intending to do. Or it could just travel constant speed, or it could start fast and then get slower.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just say like movement style, animation style, like this, and we'll basically have a couple that will support. So we'll say linear, ease in, ease out, ease in out. So and then, hold on. Then we're going to call start on this. Now, at first I was thinking we'd put the script right here, but as I was writing this out, I was thinking, oh, we could probably totally create it inside of code in our TaleSpire piece. And that way it's independent of all of these different DLLs that are out here. we can add that code. And we're going to call start on it right here with maybe a parameter of the delay to start or something like that.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
So how do you implement that in code though? Because at the moment, I mean, I can imagine if you've got 10 units of movement, 10 paces to go, you can sort of tell it to be at all of the positions in between over the course of time. But unless you have sufficient of those, you're going to look like a teleporting flame.
Sure. Pudding's asking, how do we inject all this stuff into the Steam thing? We're using BepInEx. Is kind of the way in. BepInEx
appears to be a ability to effectively subvert Unity-based applications. So far as we've seen that in a couple of applications. It might do more than just that. So Steam is kind of a slight irrelevance in a sense, in that Steam just helps to launch the game. When the game launches, it appears that BepInEx somehow injects itself into the runtime process and goes looking for plugins which meet certain criteria. And we have cobbled together some code from a few places and written one such plugin. And once you're in that namespace, in that sort of environment, you can then go kind of spelunking around and discovering and loading and doing all kinds of clever things. And that's kind of where we find ourselves, is using APIs by reflection in this case to enable all manner of stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to develop it inside of Unity, but I'm highly likely to then take that file once it's done and put it inside of my low-level core pieces. Is that true? No, I'm not, because you know what? We'll have access to it anyway if it's developed in here. So we'll develop it all in Unity and it'll stay in Unity. And even if it's in this one, we'll be able to attach it to other ones, just like we've got the spinner here. So I'm going to create a new class, a new C# script here, call it the translator.
Mm-hmm.
You like that?
Yep.
Translator, like that. And let's go double click on that. Start a Visual Studio. I meant the game, didn't know its name. The game is TaleSpire. So we're using BepInEx, yeah. Sounds like the thing Brendan did for FF7. Oh, I didn't know he did that. Yeah, so we are inside, and what's cool is we are like, you know, there's a lot that we can do while we're inside. So we can, the coolest thing is we can create these effects. I think you were here at the beginning when I showed these off. But take a look at these, what we can do here. We're like in.
So it's important to realize that the effects that Mark is showing now, that are sort of overlaid three-dimensionally in the right location, actually inside TaleSpire, are nothing that TaleSpire knows anything about. It's entirely being injected in there by code that we, as I say, cobbled together, and these effects we're dragging. They're Unity effects that Mark has bought off the store and placed within an asset bundle, which we are now loading.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, you would never know it wasn't part of the core product.
Yeah.
A certain degree comes down to just how good the effects are, but look at that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. This is absolutely one of my favorite effects right here. The way, look at what happens to the light there around this thing, right?
Mm.
That's so awesome. Yeah. It's really nice. Nicely done. Right here, though, I'd want a little steam coming off of these. That would be awesome. These are all, I think, a little too high here. They're not quite lined up with the ground. There's another one that looks really cool. It blows my mind. I think it's called Earth Split or something like that. Earth Crack. Look at that.
Wow.
Is that, like, insane?
That's very, very impressive.
Yeah, does that, like, really speak to the power of Unity?
How do you even think? I mean, because for me, it's like one of those stickers you slap on a phone that makes it look like it's cracked, right?
Right.
Except it looks different from different angles.
Right. It's essentially creating a
higher depth.
Yeah,
effect.
it's creating a portal, is what it's essentially doing, into another, 3D system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brendan just hacked some memory locations. I guess it's a bit like this, huh? I'm definitely not doing this. No, I'm definitely going in and I've got .NET code access to it. TaleSpire appears to be written in C#. It's all .NET, all of their stuff. So yeah, it's all very cool. All right, what am I doing? Oh, travel. So we got to figure this out now. As usual, I don't know how to do anything. So we got to kind of figure this out. So I want to get to our sample scene. Oh, who's here?
That's our Coding Gorilla's here. We'll be fine now.
We'll be fine now. Look out, Fred. He's right behind you. Fred, look out. He's right there. Look, Fred, why you can't be okay with it? It was a gorilla. Oh, it's Coding Gorilla. It's okay. This is a bit more impressive since Coders is actually importing new effects rather than just triggering existing ones. Yeah, the importing part, that took all last week plus last weekend. All 3 shows last week, I was banging my head against that, as I recall. And it wasn't until the weekend I was like, I got the weekend and no responsibilities. It's Bachelor's Week in Costa Rica. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to drag one of my spells. These are my custom spells, so I'm just going to drag. So let's take Evil Smoke. Evil Smoke is kind of actually killer. I love the look of this Evil Smoke effect right here. That's Evil Smoke. That looks like some dangerous smoke, doesn't it? And what we're gonna do is we're going to drop that script on it, and we're going to test it out here in the main scene. And this will be a great place to work for right now. So drop the translator on it. Now right now the translator doesn't have any properties. We need to start giving it some properties so we can start setting things.
So interesting, Mark. Maybe I've misunderstood. I kind of assumed that the translator was going to be an object that you spawned in the world and that you put other things onto.
No, you put this on.
Then tell the translator, move in this direction, and by virtue of things being attached to them, they would move as well.
It's kind of going to work like that. So if I have an object on parent, anything else, whenever I move this object, anything its parents, any children, move with it. Okay?
Yeah.
So what this is going to do, now I'll show you the spinner. The spinner is pretty simple, but basically it just hooks into the fixed update. It figures out how much time has passed since the last update, and then makes a move and makes a call to rotate in that particular direction. And the way I will use the spinner, for example, we'll use it right now. I'll take the spinner, and actually, let's do one other thing. Let's create an empty object, put Evil Smoke inside the empty object. We're going to move Evil Smoke off to the side by 2 squares. Okay, so the game object is, let's make sure it's at 0, 0, 0, like that, and that 0, 0, 0. Weird that the grid doesn't match up to that. Evil Smoke is, we'll make it at, let's make it at 1, 0, 0, like that. So Evil Smoke, its position is off to the side of, okay. Really interesting how the grid's not lining up. Anyway, it's off.
Object is at 0, 0, but it just looks weird on the grid.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Smoke is at a relative position to said game object.
Yeah. How do I move? I need to move the game camera to match. And I don't remember how to do it. There's a right click on here. There's a button over here. Camera. Looking for a button. Target display. All right, I need to look this up real quickly unless somebody's got it in the chat room. Unity, match, game camera to actual camera. Or the scene camera, maybe. So we should put in there, scene. Select the camera. Go to the game object menu and select the line view to select it. So camera, game object, line view to select it. Is that what I wanted? I wanted to get a little closer in on this. Wait, that's not...
Is it because your camera is distant from the object, so you're positioning your view in accordance with where the camera is pointing and exactly where it is in XYZ. So in order to get the effect you're after, you have to first position the camera, then you view towards it.
Am I not doing it? Wait, hold on a second. What would you like to look through while the scene view? How can I look through my camera in the scene view in Unity? Matching scene view with camera view. I think, is that what I want, or is it the other way? Is there another option in here? Align with view? That's what I wanted. I wanted align with view. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got our spinner now. We're going to take our spinner and throw it on the outer parent game object right here. And now if I select game object, I can now say degrees per second. This is, I think, around the Y, right there. And so we're going to say like 15 degrees per second. And then let's run it. And we should see it spinning. Yeah, it's too slow and not far enough away. So we're going to take this, we'll make it further away, like that. And we're going to go back up here and we're going to change this to...
Right, I see. So
90.
rather than the spinner and the translator being objects in their own right, they operate against a parent object.
Yeah. There
I
you
see.
go. They operate against any object. But you see what we're going to do? We can do with this, right? With the translator, like imagine combining the translator now. Imagine it had different kind of animations, or it could, do a spiral, right? If we're moving it in, we could do a spiral just by combining pieces together. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
it does.
So being able to create new and different effects should be really, really easy with just a few tools. So I built the spinner. I now need to figure out and build the translator. That's kind of what's going on. Okay. So
Yep.
We've got the translator now. Actually, if we got this working on our game object, it would move up is what it would happen here. So we don't have any properties on it yet, so we need to kind of add those properties. So let's do that with our translator. And we're going to need to override the fixed update, or at least implement it. It'll be called, I think it uses reflection to go in and get it. Or something similar. All right, so what we need to do is we need to have a start position. Or would translate not take a start? So the question is, should translate take start and end, or should translate take just a delta? The delta is...
It's tricky because let's say we've got 10 units to cover. So we're starting at 0, we'll go along one plane only, and we're going to go to 10. In the first update, you kind of need a speed, a velocity.
Yeah,
right?
So we're going to do that with time. At the very least, we're going to get a property in here called travel time. We're going to do that. Okay?
If you've got a total travel time, then you do need a start point. Because if you start at 0 and go to 10, and you say, I want to travel 1 unit per second, for example, that's the effect you're after. Then after the first second, you expect to be 1 unit closer. If you now evaluate travel time, that same 10 seconds is over which you're now going to travel 9 units. So you'll appear to slow down. So your choice is either I'm going to keep hold of my start location and go towards my destination at fixed speed, or whatever speed it is, or alternatively, you don't care where you're starting, because where you're starting is where you currently are, and as long as you know the speed,
right,
you can keep progressing towards the destination.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea there. But yeah, I think I'll do 2 vector 3s. So we're going to say start position, and we're going to have a stop position as well, like this. And then we've got a travel time, and then so we're going to assume linear travel at first, and then we'll extend as whenever we decide to do that. The cool thing about it is whatever we extend, we'll be able to multiply that functionality across all the other effects. So
yes.
We need we need a start time, or maybe a method called start. How are we going to do this?
Start is reasonable because I picture you having a higher level method that's literally fire missile, right? And fire missile will prep the objects, arrange them correctly, and then it will invoke start.
Yeah, well, this start is called automatically by Unity before the first frame update. When this thing is initialized, when I create a new translator instance, this method will be called start, is what it will be called. And I presume that when we're called... What?
Yeah. It's got inherent meaning to Unity.
Yeah, I assume that when this happens, this is going to be already set. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case, because why would you do it other than any other way? So I'm going to say if start immediately, then I'm going to call a method called start travel, like this. And start travel is going to note the current time. Start time is equal to time.time is what it's going to do.
Yep.
And we're going to need to declare that. Whoops, not local. We'll declare it. It's field. Fixed update. Time passed. I'm pretty sure all times in Unity are in seconds. Yeah, in seconds since the start of the game. So it's a float in seconds. So time passed since start. It's going to be equal to time.time minus start time. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way, Roy. I'm just stalling. Hopefully an idea will come to me somewhere along the way. And
okay.
That's when Roy's like, yeah, look at the time, Mark. I got to go. All right.
It's very strange you should say that.
I knew it. I knew it. All right.
You know what's on the time there.
Don't wave. He's not leaving. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, but I know I do. I have to go. I think actually though that when it comes to velocity calculations and stuff like that, you tend to have a better mental model of this than I do anyway. So I'm quite confident that you'll have this sorted in no time.
I am too. We'll see what happens.
In any case,
looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Roy.
Yes, absolutely. Same time, and we'll catch up then. I'll see exactly how far we've got.
All right, and
be great.
Send my thanks to your family for being so generous with your time. Understand. All right?
No problem, my friend. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. All right, so the time passed since start is that when the going gets tough. Yep. That's what Fred says. Get this cat out of here. Trying to dance. Come on. And we just do one thing. Party. That's what we do. That's what we do between now and tomorrow. All right, so what is it? Velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Yeah, I'm that sleepy that I had to write that down. And we know we don't know our travel distance yet, but we can figure that out. And I think I can just do vector math here. Help me out putting if I'm right. Here, I think it's going to be stop position minus start position. At the very least, that's going to give me my delta right there. Distance delta. Well, okay. All right. Pudding says this is speed, but I'm saying like, well, distance isn't, we have that in a direction, so it does have a direction associated with it. But we're going to, I think I get where you're going with this. All right, so we need to figure out the percent of the way through. That's what we need to do. Okay, I think I got it. Percent complete. This. And then we're going to come in and say, hey, percent complete is equal to time passed since start divided by travel time. All right, that's super cool. We need to now check to see is percent complete greater than 1, then get out. We're not doing anything. Distance delta is going to move down. There's something else I needed. Start time. Start immediately is false. We need to set one other variable. We need a variable called started. Like this. Set that to true here in set travel. And then down in fixed update, if we haven't started yet, then we're just going to get out. Okay? We might also look. We might also. I was thinking about if percent complete is greater than 1, then we just set started to false again. But now I'm thinking, if not started, maybe we'll do this, or finished. We'll create a separate variable for it. And then we're going to come down in here, and we're going to say it finished to true. And we're going to set here finished to false. And we're going to declare it there. All right, so we've got that. Next, percent complete. Now we've got distance delta. So now we've got to do our new delta, our new position. New position is equal to new vector 3. And we're going to go from our start position dot x plus our distance delta dot x times percent complete. Boom. That's coordinate 1. I'm going to use duplicate selection here. Wait, hold on one second. I want to correct one thing that it's doing. Stop replacing that with that. And we're going to change that to a Y. And then one more time. Where's my Z? Okay, good. All right. I don't know, maybe that. Okay, there's my new position, and now I want to go in and say to my, I want to go into my transform for this object, position, and set it equal to new position. And I think that's going to work. That'll give us an animation from point A to point B. Let's see if it works. Let's go back into our TaleSpire mod with our translator here. Now with the game object that has the translator on it. Oh, it's got 2 spinners. Why did we get 1? I don't understand how that happened. We'll remove that component. All right, here's my translator now. So I want to go from position 1, which is here, to stop position up. I'm going to have it move up 5. Let's just see if that works. Travel time. Let's do it in 3 seconds and say start immediately to true. Because otherwise we need to call start method, and I don't have a way to do that right now. And let's hit play on that and see what we see. I want to see it spiraling up. There. Okay, I'm going to say it looked like it did it. We need to back up. Let's back up a bit. Where's my evil smoke? There it is right there. Okay. Game object, oops, camera, main camera, game object, align with you. I think that's it. Right? Okay, try it now. Okay, did I get my coordinates wrong? It just looks like it went that way to the left. It should definitely be going up Y. Stop position is Y, higher. I don't think I made any mistakes there. This vector math, I'm assuming, is going to work like I'm expecting. I don't get it. I do not understand why that code's not working. That looks good. Let me throw a different value in here and see what happens with stop position at Z on 5. Does it go up? Hard to tell without other objects, reference objects on the same screen. Let's add a couple of reference objects here. put this 0, 0, 0. Wait, let's do this. Better idea. Let's add a sphere. Let's make it small. Like that. Started at 0, 0, 0. Just duplicate it. Put it out at 0, 1. Nice, much better. Okay, so we've got 0, that's 1. Duplicate that. This one's going to be 2. Duplicate that. This one's going to be 3. Let's duplicate that. What? And that one's going to be 4. All right, cool. Let's get that directional light out of the way. Okay. Next, let's stop that spinning. In fact, maybe let's copy this component. Let's drop in a flame. Medium fire. And let's just move it only and just watch the movement there. Medium fire. Base component is new. Here's my translator. Let's go back and give it this setting here. Okay. It could be also that, it just occurred to me, this could be my problem right here. I think there's a better way to solve this. I'm just not, there's several ways to specify position, and I think that might be my problem. Yeah, I think we're going to see, hopefully this will work. All right, so let's run it. That looks like it's working. Got to back up a little bit here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's stopping at the top one. I just didn't add that last one up there. Duplicate. Okay. This is at 5. Okay, so the movement is working when we make the call like that, but it doesn't seem to work with this guy right here, where I say, I want you to start here, and I want you to go up 5. And I suspect it's the call that I have. Let's just run and watch that. It's going to be somewhere else. Because I think I'm rotating the object. Is it working? Actually, it might be working. Holy cow. It's just that we didn't have reference to it. Okay. All right, sweet. All right, let's save that. Let's shut down TaleSpire. Let's build this and now use this translator to move an effect. Coding Really says, should you be changing the Z? No, I shouldn't, but I was trying to see if, I was theorizing, wait, what's going on? Because it looked like it was going in a different place, but it turns out it was, I think it looks like it was just an optical illusion. That once I had these reference points up here, we were able to see that it was in fact working. One more time, we'll run it here. And I'll go to the scene view and I'll turn it to line it up. Yeah, it's lined up right. That's super cool. Okay. All right, turn off the play. TaleSpire shut down. Let's build from here. So we hit the export mod button there. It's going to recompile, and over in this world now, let's do a rebuild on this. We should be able to see that class though. And so in our Explorer, when we set this up, what I want to do now is I want to say add the effect. Is the effect, it doesn't return the effect. That's a mistake. There's the effect right there. Okay. All right, so there's my add effect call now, returning the game object that we create. And now what I can do is we're going to only create one of these now. And Kimball, can you let that dog in or out, whatever I'm hearing there? Fireball, we'll call this. Fireball, we'll say it's equal to that. Starting at, actually we're started at Merkin position. Like that. Then I want to say fireball.add component. And I want to add a new translator, which hopefully we'll see it right now in IntelliSense. That's it. So I want to add a new translator, and hopefully add component returns the translator. Sweet. It does. Nice. And so now I'm going to take that translator and set those properties on it. So we're going to say, I'm just going to use CodeRush here to limit only to the translator class itself. So we're going to say start position is equal to that. And my stop position is equal to Janice. Looks like I need to convert this to a vector 3. Get vector 3. Like that. Okay. I've got the start and stop position. What else do I need to set inside there? Travel time. That's going to be equal to, fine, 3 seconds. We could make it distance dependent, so it kind of travels at a more consistent speed. But we'll say its travel time is 3 for now. And start immediately is true. Like that. No. We're going to just call start on it. Uh-oh. The reason why is because at this point, I think start may be called already, which means in our translator, this will be false by that time. This will have already been called, so we won't have a chance to do it. So we need to call start travel, which means this has got to be public. Like that, which means we need to come back over here and regenerate one more time. Okay, and let's start travel. Then we're going to call start travel here, like that. And we don't have to add that second effect. And I think that's it. All right, so let's do rebuild over here. Rebuild all succeeded. If everything is working the way it seems to have been, we think it's working, which isn't that always the case. That's it now. What do you think we should do, Fred? You don't know, huh, Ryan? I think you know. All right, we want to see this fireball travel in 3 seconds. So it's going to be slow fireball from Merkin to Janus. Yeah, in retrospect, I think 3 seconds was a mistake. Okay, loading up the board. Janus is up here flying right up there. Attack Janus. Nice. Okay. So that's it. We are like a step closer to making that work. move Janos over here. Attack Janos! Yeah, so it goes from base to base. Now we can offset it a bit for the creature, like get a sense of where the creature's middle is, get an estimate for attacks and things like that, and we can certainly change the speed of that so it shoots up there much faster. Actually, let's do that. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's put Janus much further away, so it just has to go faster to get to Janus. Let's see how that looks right there. Attack Janus. Better. The trail goes way out from behind it. I'm going to change it 1 second. Or maybe distant dependent or something like that, so it always goes at the same speed. For now, we'll do it like this. We'll make it 0.8 of a second. Rebuild. Bring it in. Let me do something else. Just occurred to me. Last selected prefab. Medium fire. If that's not null, then we'll say effect name is equal to the last selected prefab. So you throw a little more variety at this thing. That's going to be what I do. The other thing that's cool about this is it allows us to take a prefab and move it, translate it, and verify that simply by calling add component on the translator and then setting the properties, it all works the way we want it to. All right, let's do play. All right, when we get this working, we'll get a raid going over here. Send you to somewhere exciting on the live coders team. Loading up. So we CLW. Starting soon. We'll make sure it's starting. I won't send you over to the start screen. We'll make sure it's going. Thanks till next time, this is Creature Next. You're welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us today, kids. Wait, so before we go, says Pudding, don't worry, I'm not going to send you over there yet. All right. So this should just whip across. Nice. That looked great. What an awesome effect. Throw some sound in there. Now let's go crazy, shall we? The fireball. Can you do that? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh wow. That's awesome. I want it to go a little bit more so it hits it goes from center to center. Look at that thing go. The effect looks great. Can you use your thingy to inject stuff into any Unity project? Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I think we can, is the answer to that question. All right, let's get crazy now. This would be totally crazy. Interesting. All right, one more time. Here comes the attack. That is so cool. I love it. That is awesome. Right? What an attack. That's awesome. We just got to get it, you know, hitting the center of him rather than... well, I guess that's not entirely true, is it? It depends on the effect. We need a power word kill. Power word kill is... we have it, it's the blood burst massive like that. I have no idea what's going to happen when we do it. How is that going to work when we move? Ready? Let's let that go, and here goes the attack. Oh, that's kind of cool. What's the Earthcrack going to look like? Okay, kind of just goes over to him like that. Firefly burst collision. Let's do that one. Yeah, it does. It's not up long enough. Interesting. Little flap. Can you get that moving? No, that can move. It's not very natural. Like some of these don't look natural in terms of the speed. You definitely want them to. Yeah, you definitely want to have ease in and ease out. Some of them don't really qualify for overkill productions. That's a little bit true. What's this one going to look like when I attack Giannis with it? It's a little scary. I'm not going to lie. It's a little scary right there. Yeah, you got my attention with that one. Lightning hand. Let's try to. It's just really small coming through. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that. That's awesome for a spell attack that you're flying through the air. And then when you hit, you could do something else with it. It's nice. I love it. I love it. What's this one going to look like? That's kind of cool. Now, what's this going to look like? Some of them look pretty, you know, not too bad. Okay, fire tornado. That's just because it's coming down. It's bigger. We need to kind of be further away on this. Destroy last, attack Janus again with that. That's kind of what's happening there. Okay. Yeah, it can work. Awesome. Yeah, okay, so in general, I'd say pretty good progress, right? We are getting closer. We want to definitely add ease in and ease out to the motion, so it looks more natural, because that's kind of the essence of how it even works too. That's the essence of magic, right? It's kind of a combination of cool effects with natural. Yeah. The Earthcrack one was kind of cool as well. We looked at that already, didn't we? That must be smoke. Cool. And then also we have the effects that I created as well, just simple particle effects in here. We have evil smoke. Oh, it looks great. That looks really nice. Yeah, all right. How are we doing over here? Still not starting yet over at CLW? Or is that because I haven't hit play yet? Yeah, all right, we'll send you guys over there. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate hanging out with you. And we'll see you tomorrow.